Evolutionary podcast coming your way. This is a Q&A episode. This is number 341, Rick. Q&As. Remember, guys, our odd episodes are going to be Q&As. Our even episodes are going to be a compound. So we're going to keep that going until the near future. So let's hit it. The first one is we're going to talk about. This is one that just came out that I got, and this is a good one. This guy, he wants a steroid to help him with speed and jumping. And Rick, you're into a lot of kickboxing, mixed martial arts and stuff. Honestly, do steroids help you with your speed and with your jumping ability and stuff like that? Or do you think they're kind of counterproductive?
They help muscle contraction. They give you more strength, though. So as long as your technique, so yeah, they help with muscle contractions. They give you more strength. So as long as your technique is up to par, as long as you don't suck, they'll help. They'll help performance tremendously if you already have the right technique and are able to do these things. So yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, what do you want me to say about it? As far as steroids that are good for it, any that don't give you crazy pumps, just keep your dosing low. When it comes to performance enhancement, okay, when it comes to actual performance enhancement on the court, on the field, in the ring, a little dab will do you. A little bit. You take a lot more and you take insulin, all this other stuff when you're just trying to put on tons and tons of just a lot of muscle on that your body doesn't want to keep. If you just want to move around with more strength, more endurance, a little faster recovery, just stay to the smaller dosing, man. If you're a guy and you're looking at, say, something like Anavar for performance, 20 mgs. That's about it. You won't be building muscle mass to where you'll have a shift in weight classes. It'll protect muscle mass from being catabolized while you're maybe on a caloric deficit for whatever reason. It'll help your muscles contract harder and be able to contract longer. At the lower dosing, that's where you find the good performance enhancement effects of it with the low side effects. You have to go into the higher dosing to get the bodybuilding effects out of it, but then you get the crazy side effects out of it. So, and we just did a podcast on S4 and on Osterin. The last two compound podcasts were on Osterin. 340 was on S4 on Andrin, and 338 was on Osterin. Those two, I know the question is about steroids, but just as far as performance enhancement goes, Osterin and Into Joint RX, great stack for performance. Osterin, Andrin, and GW. I said that was my trifecta. Steve said I'm the guy who came up with the idea. I wrote the article, so he gets the credit. But GW, good stack. GW gives you strength. S4, make sure that the muscle soreness doesn't carry over day after day. And Osterin, make sure that your joints are always healing, that injuries are healing up fast, that you don't just have that lingering joint soreness, but stuff gets better quicker. So those three, I mean, and you throw maybe a little bit of test and DECA on top of that, and you've got them in. It's a 5 compound stack, but if you do small dosing, you should be okay. I mean, and it depends how much help you need too. You might be good and you only need a little bit of Osterin, a little bit of Anavar, a little bit of testosterone. Performance enhancement, testosterone is good. A little bit of do you. What do you think, Steve?
We don't talk about this very often. Most guys who are using steroids are not using them to benefit them for jumping or for speed running, stuff like that. So we don't talk about this enough. So this is why it's a good topic. You got to be careful when you're using these steroids because the pumps, like Rick mentioned, I know for me, if I'm running something that gives pumps like Anavar or T-Bol, it's going to hurt me because when you're running, let's say you run a mile, when you get close to that mile mark, you're going to start noticing pumps, your lower back, your shins, your calves are going to start cramping up really bad. And that's actually not a cramp. That's actually just a pump. And that's basically all the blood and nutrients kind of going into those muscles that are really, really getting worked. So it would be counterproductive to build strength using them. Also, something like tren, very inflammatory, very, very bad for speed and for jumping because it's going to hurt your cardio. So you really have to be careful which steroids you use. One of the few steroids that I would say is good for this is EQ, because EQ gives you the benefits of the protein synthesis, the boost in red blood cell count, the boost in recovery, and it's not going to give you those side effects. It's not going to give you pumps. It's not going to give you too much inflammation. It's not going to give you a lot of these other side effects, the water retention. So in that aspect, that would be probably your best steroid to use. So you probably want to use some EQ, maybe 200-300 milligrams a week. Try that. But I would not go heavy on the steroids. If you go heavy on the steroids, you will actually hurt your speed and you will hurt your ability to jump. It makes no sense because a lot of steroids, like if you're in testosterone, it aromatizes into estrogen in the body. So you're going to have a boost in water retention. So how are you supposed to jump if you're holding a gallon of water? That doesn't even make any sense. So you want to be as lean as possible. Something like Winstrol that dries you out and dries out all the water makes sense. Yeah, it's going to help me jump because I'm flushed out of water. But on the flip side, it gives you a lot of pumps. So now you're jumping up on a box, jumping off, jumping up, jumping off. Your legs are just going to cramp up from those pumps. So you have to kind of just be aware of that. A lot of guys make that mistake. They think steroids are magic. Like, I want to do this. I want to be able to dunk a basketball, so I'm going to run steroids. I want to be able to run a 17-minute 5K, so I'm going to run steroids. But they don't understand that steroids do different things, and steroids have advantages and disadvantages. So you don't want to cross off too many of those check marks on the disadvantages. Have you ever been in a situation like that, Rick, doing your endurance stuff or MMA stuff where steroids actually crippled you?
Yes, yes, is one of the reasons that I cut back steroid use, and because I started doing Muay Thai. I took up Muay Thai. I was about 24 when I took it up, and I was on Trenbolone. I was on Trenbolone, prop, EQ stack at a time, making great progress. And man, I'd get this crazy shin splints, pumps on my back, pumps on that muscle right along your shin, and it was uncomfortable and it was hurting performance. I wasn't able to execute proper technique and really kind of whip my weight behind my leg I mean, it just wasn't, it was counterproductive. And then I started to scale back in dosage because I enjoy a lot more just being nimble, active, and being able to do all these things than I do just looking big. And yeah, absolutely, right away. But I didn't get away from steroids altogether. I just lowered dosing down. And so I did a lot of the higher dosing early on in my steroid career, the first, 5 years, I would say. But as I ran more into Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and this performance stuff, and then and then I started to get pumps in my forearms from trying to hold on to someone's gi and trying to grab onto a hold. I'd get pumps in my arms and places I didn't want to get pumps. So I didn't walk away from steroids completely. I just started lowering dosing a lot, just kept it low until over the years, I just found a little bit of testosterone it's about all I really needed just to top out at the performance enhancement end of it. As far as muscle growth, I mean, to top out at muscle growth with steroids, you go pretty high. The diminishing returns start at just over a gram a week. You start to see diminishing returns as you increase dose, but you get a little improvement probably all the way up until maybe even as much as 3-4 grams a week. You would see some very gradual at the very top end of those dosing. But performance, sex drive, recovery, strength, easy fat loss, all that stuff is easy to come by at the lower dosing, at the sub under 500 mgs a week realm, maybe even under 300 mgs a week realm, depending how your genetics are to begin with. So yeah, the pumps, the some of the bad side effects that hurt performance are only there when you go into higher bodybuilder doses, which is what happened. I came in from trying to get as big as I could and bodybuilder guy into getting interested again because I took a couple of years off, again interested in martial arts and fighting, and just the dosing just wouldn't fit in with the lifestyle. So if but this is why athletes are still getting caught with Turinabol and Masteron and all these steroids in their system. Top athletes are still getting caught. Why? Because they've got coaches that say, hey, you only need 10 mgs a day of Turinabol, and that'll shave enough time off your run to win. Hey, you only need 20. If you only need 100, you only need 50 milligrams every other day of Masteron, and we can lose this body fat. You make weight, and we steal this belt. So though that's where the performance enhancement and the lower side effects, almost negligible side effects, come in at the lower dosing. Anytime you get above 350, 300, 500 megs, you side effects start to come, and the returns on performance and everything are just diminishing. Matter of fact, I don't think as far as running, punching, jumping, you might not see any additional benefit going from 250, 300 megs a week, going up to 1,000. If anything, that's when you start to hurt your performance with the shin splints, with the pumps, with the back pumps, with all of that. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think you should experiment and see for yourself. A lot of people want to argue on the forums about this. So it's like, okay, go do it, bro. If you think it's going to help you, if you think you're going to take steroids and be able to dunk a basketball, go run steroids. Do it, bro.
Look, if you can already dunk a basketball, if you're already up there, then you throw 10, 15 milligrams of Turinabol to your regimen, then you're going to rip the fucking backboard off of that thing. Okay. But you got to be able to dunk the basketball to begin with. Steroids are amplifiers. You're multiplying. It's an equation. If you start with 0, or if you start with 1, you ain't getting much. If you start with 10, and then and steroids just give you a times 2 factor, now you got 20. So yeah, if you can already dunk a basketball, if you've already got a wicked jump shot, 10 migs Turinabol a day, 15 migs, 20 migs Anavar, not even 100, 250 migs testosterone a week. You rip the backboard off and you jump a lot higher. It'll be a lot quicker. It'll just amplify. But if you suck, if you can't dunk, you do 1,000 milligrams a week. You'll never fucking dunk a basketball. Bottom line. Right?
All right, guys. I can dunk on a 9-foot rim. All right, guys.
What the fuck? What you just said? You could what?
I can dunk on a 9-foot rim. I can't make it 10 foot. 9 foot.
Wow. I can hook shot with my eyebrow.
Yeah. You can dunk. You're gonna be the next Michael Jordan. We're gonna put you on a bunch of steroids, Rick. You're gonna be the next Michael Jordan. All right. You're going to be the next brown Michael Jordan. All right, guys. So the next one is steroid use for aesthetics versus pure size and strength. So what did you think when you first saw this question? To me, it was kind of a debate. We see this debate all the time with aesthetic guys who want to debate the big, lunky, power lifters, the perma bulkers. And the perma bulkers want to debate the aesthetic guys. They'll call the aesthetic guys skinny, and aesthetic guys will call the perma bulkers fat. So you got this back and forth. So what did you think when you first saw this one on steroid use? Because it's a good topic. Because yes, if your goals are aesthetics, you're going to use different steroids, and if your goals are for pure size and strength, because the strength guys, you're going to be more toward a bunch of tren, a bunch of test, anadrol, D-bol, stuff like that. And then the aesthetic guys, they like the Winnie, the Masteron, maybe a little bit of tren. They'll go with the Primo. They'll go with maybe some EQ, stuff like that, the Anavar. So it's different. You got different classes of the athlete. So we are seeing a trend, though, in franchise gyms where perma bulking has become the mainstay. You don't see too many guys aesthetic, and a lot of that has to do with the food quality. So the food quality that we're eating makes us put on a lot of excess poundage. So then we add steroids to it, and the steroids boost your appetite. They kind of make you even more massive. So you don't see too many aesthetic guys too much anymore in these franchise gyms. You see more of the bigger guys. So I think it comes down to bulking steroids versus cutting steroids. We go back to
diet.
So
Some
what do
people
you?
can't stop eating. They still like going to the gym. They like taking steroids. They just can't fucking stop eating.
So you think that steroid use is less important than diet, or do you think that steroid use is still important along with diet?
Well, look, you can look fucking great on just training and diet alone. Look great on it. Just good proper diet and train. You may not look super impressive, but you can look great on it. So steroids just multiply what you're already doing. And look, if you're a perma bulk guy and you actually at least get out to a powerlifting meet once a year or something, all right, little some, so you got some props. But if you're like perma bulking and you just want to be the guy that lives the most among your friends in the gym, and I don't know, why not just get on a good diet, try to maintain as much of your strength as you can. Let's get that six pack. Let's try that out. I mean, if you're just trying to be big, be power lifter big, and you're not trying to like cut your calories down and do these things that are going to hurt performance on a day-to-day basis. Because when you're cutting down and you're in a caloric deficit, performance takes a hit while you're doing that. I get it, I guess. But just to be big and sloppy, taking juice, to just be kind of continue to be big and sloppy, and you're not even putting on the jersey and going to do something. I don't know. I think if you're going to be a big perma bulk guy, at least do a strongman competition once in your lifetime. At least do a little something. At least just fucking justify yourself. You justify yourself to me right now.
Well, we're going to talk about keto diet on next, but I don't think it's people's fault, Rick, because you hear everybody. I actually watched a documentary called The Game Changers. You've seen that, right? With Arnold?
No, I've not. I have to know.
Oh, you should see it. It's an MMA guy. He did the documentary. It's called The Game Changers, and it talks about this. It's free on YouTube. And they talk about transitioning to, the guys talks about how he's always been told you got to eat tons of protein, you got to eat tons of carbs, you got to eat tons of food, and he went to more of a
the vegetarian. This is the MMA guy turned vegetarian, just trying to turn everybody vegetarian.
Yes.
I don't listen. Are you turning vegetarian on me? You are.
That's not my point. That's not my point.
You know what? I've noticed this about you recently, and also remember that Facebook conversation with the guy about plant-based diet. You're fucking turning veggie on me, aren't you?
I've ran plant-based diets before.
When was the last time you had meat?
Last night.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Yeah.
You fucking scared me, bro. Whew. All right. Go on. I'm sorry. Okay.
What I was gonna say. No, what I was gonna say is this guy was talking about how you were always told you're supposed to eat like tons of meat, 6 times a day. We'll eat tons of meat. And people are told this, and it's just not true. And that's how they get so overweight. So then they go to the gym and they're running steroids and they're lifting heavy weights and all this stuff. And, we're told that, oh, you're tough if you eat tons of meat, you're tough and all this stuff. It's just this schism that's out there. And you can't blame the people, Rick. You're always giving people a hard time about eating too much food, but they're told to eat this much food by coaches. These guys, these personal trainers and these coaches tell them that you have to eat a huge ass breakfast. You got to get up at 6 o'clock, eat a huge ass breakfast. Then 2 hours later, you got to eat again. Then 2 hours later, you got to eat again. We're told this. So they start putting on weight, and then they can't get that weight back off. Then they start running steroids, and that increases their appetite, and they boost their insulin resistance even more. So that's the difference, though. That's the main difference between me and you. You like to blame the victim. I'm blaming the coaches and these trainers who are putting them on these diets the first place, and who are telling them, and the marketing that kind of tells them that you're supposed to do this, and it's wrong.
I don't. I know how hard it is. I know the marketing. I know the pressure. The fact that if you are up on your gym grind and you're dieting, you're the oddball around your family and friends most of the time, unless you are around people in that lifestyle. You grew up around
But
people.
Rick, you're not listening to what I'm saying. They think that that's the right way because of the marketing.
To eat a lot of food, ton of food.
Yes, a big breakfast,
I think
right?
portions. I think portions are out of control altogether. Even bodybuilding portions are I don't know, but
But we're told we're supposed to wake up and have a big breakfast. That's
yeah,
what, if you ask most people, they will say that. You got to get up and have
I think by now people listening to the podcast. I mean, they know, Steve. Fasting is what we do. Is the way to go. Time restricted feeding is the way to go, and it's a grind. It's a grind. I have fat boy genetics, just like Steve does, but I don't get fat sloppy like Steve does.
How much
Because
did you weigh when you were a freshman in high school? Let me ask you that. How much did you weigh?
okay, well, I was 119, a varsity wrestler in ninth grade,
So how
and
was that fat boy genetics?
what was that?
How was that fat boy genetics?
Okay.
You're
Because
119 pounds. Dude, I was like 112 pounds. I went out for football and they laughed at me. So I'm definitely not fat boy genetics.
let me explain
I
to
was
you about
skinny as a rail,
let me
my whole
let,
life.
let me explain to you about fat boy genetics. So sixth grade, we get the scoliosis test, right? Doctors come in, they put the girls in one gym and boys in another, and we all had to take our shirts off. It's the sixth grade, and I go to Freeport, went to Freeport school system, rent control town in Long Island. And I'm going to school with, a bunch of Dominican kids, black kids. We have projects in Freeport. So I'm going to school kids from the projects. And we all unshirt and we're getting there in line. And these fucking kids looked ripped, looked fucking broad. Like my boy Miguel Maranta, he had two older brothers at home. So they had weight sets. So he started lifting weights when we were in sixth grade. And they're taller than me too, because I'm a short dude. So I'm just looking at these guys. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be stuck in school with these motherfuckers. I'm already fighting guys because they're making fun of my accent, because we're poor and I can't get the new kicks every year starting school. So I'm already having to fight people. I fucking look at these, and I had rolls, like belly rolls. And when I sit, they were like wrinkles going across my stomach, bro. It's just like disgusting fat when I was in sixth grade. And as I'm sitting there, I made the decision. I said, you know what? When I get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna go, because I started to make money in sixth grade. I was to work night job with my dad. I said, I'm going to get some fucking weights. We're gonna change this. This is because these kids, they're already making fun of me because I had an accent. I couldn't get a haircut very often. I didn't have the new kickstart school. I used to wear hand-me-down clothes that my mom would get from people at the houses she worked at. And it was already rough. I was already having a fight. And then I'm fat on top of that scoliosis test, and these kids look fucking ripped already in sixth grade. Genetics, right? So yeah, man, I've got these fat boy genetics that I've been fighting back my entire life, dude. Like nasty fat boy genetics.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So you were before and then you got back in the show. Okay, I got you. But I've always
Yeah,
been
when I was a kid, when I was in sixth grade, I can't remember the exact age. I believe I was 13 because I started lifting weights at 13, 14. Dude, I was just fat, bro, like chubby, like titties and belly rolls fat. I never got made fun of for being fat. That wasn't my thing. I just got made fun of for being the poor kid in the poor town. But but man, the fucking belly. I was disgusting fat, and I've let myself go a couple of times for different reasons in
So
my
you
life.
got into high school, you
Fat.
got into shape, you had to make weight. So I had to make weight too, because
Yeah,
I was a
I
weightlifter.
started.
Yeah.
So when I got into seventh grade, I was already in great shape. I just spent a year, just almost a year, and I was in great shape in seventh grade. And then I had another fight. I used to fight every year, and and it didn't go as good as I wanted it to go. So then I joined the wrestling team in eighth grade. So by the time I got to ninth grade, bro, I was like 8% body fat, 119 pounds, ripped, just fucking people up. I started starving myself then too, bro. I started to make 119. I was cutting 10 pounds before I was walking around 130, cutting down 119 for in junior, in ninth grade. But then again, I mean, I'm going to Freeport school system in Long Island. We have incredible school system, incredible sports, bro. The level of competition in Long Island for wrestling, you take a Long Island champion in wrestling and you take him any other state and he'll fuck most of those kids up. So
We would dry fast the day of if we had to make weight. I'd always come in a few pounds over. I'd always dry fast for the day, and I'd come in. I'd make weight, no problem.
no,
Um,
I had it where I lost about 5 pounds of fluid per practice, standardly. So like I knew if I was wrestling in 2 days, I would just dry fast for the next 2 days and still go to practice. And I would, and actually in 2 days I would lose a total of about, because I lose about 5 pounds per practice, and then I would drift another pound and a half for we used to call it drifting, which is just like you just lose weight in the vapor that you breathe out, because all the food you eat what actually escapes your gut and goes into your body, right? That doesn't get excreted out, but actually makes it past the wall of your gut and goes into your body. The way that mass eventually leaves your body again is through vapor and water. When your body takes the calories and separates cells and shit, sparks them for energy in the mitochondria. At the end of the day, you're generating water vapor. It just you leave it, you let it out as water. So so as a kid back then, I would breathe out about a pound of water a day. It's called drifting. So I knew I was good for about losing 12 pounds over 2 days just with practice and drifting. And I could put in about 2 pounds of some kind of sustenance back into my body over 2 days. And I did that, bro. My motherfucking eyes closed. No problem. 10 pounds, 2 days, ninth grader, fucking people up. No problem, bro.
well, let's transition from that to keto. We haven't talked about keto in a while on this. It gets talked about a lot. You have a lot of coaches out there putting their clients on keto diets for bodybuilding and for general weight loss. So, Rick, tell us what you think about. Tell us what keto is and what you think about it in general, and then I'll kind of give my final thoughts on it.
It's an experiment. I've said this a million times, man. There's so many diets. It's an experiment, and you've got to see what really works for you and what really does it for you. I've done keto. I feel good on it. It's not my favorite. I don't. I don't think you need to completely eliminate carbohydrates. I don't think you need to completely. It's not a bad diet, but the way I like to do it, I like to do just time restricted feeding to keep my insulin low. And when I do eat, then I'll have some carbs, no problem. As a matter of fact, as far as just to give you guys a little change, when I'm not on heavy steroids, when I'm not on cycle, I eat in a 4 hour window. When I am on steroids, I'll extend that window to 6 hours. So that way I've got a good hour of getting a bunch of carbohydrates and a bunch of protein in me before I lift weights in my afternoon workout. So it's keto good? Just try it out. Give it a shot. Why not? I did, and see how it works out for you. I've got guys that I work with that they say, "Hey, keto, I'm doing keto." I'm like, "All right, dude, doing keto. No problem, man. Let's work on it. Let's see what we can do."
So all you said though was keto was not carbs. Tell us a little bit more what it is exactly, because you did it. Give us an example of what you ate that day.
The only thing most of the stuff that I would actually eat would be, I get most of my calories from, believe it or not, coconut oil and meats. And I did have some veggies, mostly for the roughish, for the fiber. But my day mostly consisted of eating meats. I would actually even take spoonfuls of coconut oil and different oils, and it was actually a pretty fat heavy diet. And protein, definitely had a whey protein. And the way that I maintain keto is I just made sure never to have more than 20 grams of carbs, and if that, sometimes I'd stay under 10 in any 2 to 3 hour period. Anything going above 20 grams of carbs, it kicks you right the fuck out of keto. And what's good about it with your, if once you train your body into getting into ketosis fast, it'll do it faster. Like when you first start to make the transition, it can take days to be in ketosis. But once you know what the fuck you're doing, you can, if you just fast, and not even fully fast, because you can have some fat calories and some just straight protein calories. you'll kick into ketosis over a 48-hour period, no problem. Even 24 hours.
How are you going to go into ketosis if you're eating meat? Most of meat is not fat. I would understand if you cut off the fat portions of the meat and ate that and then just ate the bone marrow. But if you're eating the muscly part of a steak, you're not getting into ketosis. Like beef is like 80-20. 80.
When you have a mostly fat in your meal, it slows down the rate at which those proteins are absorbed.
That's the idea, but you're not getting mostly fat.
Well,
That's my problem with keto.
to be fair, you'd have to have seen my steak, right? Because when I prepared this steak, I actually sliced the lean meat out, fed it to my kids.
Yeah.
My kids don't like eating the fat in the steak, so while I was working keto, when I would cook for them, what I would do is just slice out the fatty parts. Because I did this with them when I was in Vegas and they came to visit. I was trying keto. I had the strips and everything, and basically, slice the fatty parts of the meat out, throw those on my plate, and make sure that they got the leaner parts, which they would leave the fatty anyway. And again, man, I tried it, thought it was good, but it wasn't. I didn't feel some crazy great improvement over what I normally do. So I think I'm fine, man. I
That's it. Yeah, I just want to make a few points. Number one, the way Rick is describing it, in that situation, the most of these keto diets that are being pushed in bodybuilding are not actually keto diets. All they are just no or low carb diets. Let's just call it what it is, because you're actually not going to be able to go into ketosis eating stuff like that. So it'd be very, very hard. And you can get ketone strips if you don't believe me and see if you're spitting out ketosis. The only way I've ever gotten to ketosis is fasting. But the idea behind the keto diet, Rick, is you're giving less of an insulin. You're pumping out less insulin on that diet. So if the keto diet is done correctly and you're eating the right things, you will definitely be spitting out less insulin during the day. But the problem is the way it's presented to people in like on YouTube and social media and stuff. It's actually not keto diet. Like I can give you an example. You've got these guys on Instagram or something. They're like, oh, they push keto diet. And you see them picture on Instagram. They got a whole bowl of food from Chipotle. That's not keto. You cannot go to Chipotle and eat keto because
that's like Atkins, basically what they're doing, really, not keto.
But I mean, the problem is what do they cook the food in Chipotle? Sunflower oil. A refined sunflower oil is what they use. So that's not ketosis. It's impossible to get into ketosis by eating refined oils. So it doesn't even make any sense.
You have to stick to coconut oil, unrefined coconut oil, even some of the flours like almond flour, coconut flour. There's things you can do to get a little bit creative.
But I mean, let's not conflate. This is why I wasn't baiting you, like having you go first or anything. Everyone thinks I'm always baiting you on these podcasts. I'm not. I just wanted to see what you did. But here's the thing, like the keto diet, every time I hear that on forums, I like want to rip my hair out because it's not keto. That's a low or no carb diet. Let's just call it what it is. Really, the keto diet that's pushed, yes, you get less of an insulin spike, but the way that keto is presented,
what should your percentages be, Steve? As far if you want to do a proper keto diet, what should your percentages be as far as fat, protein, carbs?
But the problem with that, Rick, is you're not really in ketosis when you're doing a keto diet. I want to be clear about that. But you are, yes, if you have a high fat, no carb diet, you will spike insulin less. I'm not disagreeing with that. But you have to prep the food properly.
So do I need? So do I?
I'd say 60%.
60% fat,
50-60%. Yes.
Fat and 40% of protein.
Maybe like 30, 35, maybe, and then a little, yeah.
So
but I mean, again, I would still classify that as like a high fat, no carb diet. I wouldn't classify it as a keto diet.
So what would a keto diet be then?
I don't think it really exists. The only way you could, because here's the thing, I did a fast. I did a prolonged fast. Afterwards, I had a salad, okay, with some coconut oil on it. And as soon as I had that salad, I tested myself 30 minutes later and I was out of ketosis. So how the fuck can you tell me that a salad is going to kick you out of ketosis, but someone who eats a high fat diet with no carbs, which I'm assuming includes some greens, is going to manage to stay in ketosis.
I'll admit I
Doesn't make
don't.
any sense. Maybe I'm I don't know. Maybe
I'll admit I don't have a ton of experience with keto diet, with the keto diets and being on ketosis and on the strips. I think for the context of what we're doing, which is really just trying to look good while using some of these performance enhancement compounds, it's not something I've needed to really go get deep into, especially
I think the principle of it is good.
most of the people that I end up working with, they're a hard sell on just trying to try fasting. Most every fitness enthusiast out there wants to eat 6 times a day, and they want to eat rice cakes and their carbs in. So I admit I'm not. I'm sure there are probably 100 ketogenic podcasts where these guys discuss this in depth, and if one of those guys is listening right now, they're like, "What the fuck are you?"
No. This is what they'll say. They'll say, "Oh, Steve, you know what you're talking about? Those ketone strips."
What the fuck?
They'll say those ketone strips aren't accurate. That's what they'll tell me. I'm like, yeah, they're not accurate. Is that why diabetics depend on them to stay alive? And hospitals depend on them to stay alive, but they're not accurate because your stupid diet doesn't really put you in ketosis. You're full of shit. That's what the truth.
I wanted to be nice because I'm sure some people out there listening now consider themselves keto experts. But yeah, I mean,
No. The keto diet, I like the keto diet. I'm not saying I don't like the keto diet, but I hate the way it's presented by a lot of these.
But they sell in Atkins as a keto is what happens.
They sell low carb or no carb as keto. I got a problem with that, and they're incorrect. Or they'll sell a high meat diet as
the one thing that I've seen out there that I've yet to see any solid proof works is they're actually putting ketones into supplements and saying and trying to imply that somehow taking ketones orally in supplements will somehow help you stay in ketosis, which is kind of weird to me. Your body has to make the ketones. Ingesting them, I don't think is going to stimulate your body to make the ketones, but yet there are supplements out there with ketones, drinks, energy drinks.
Yeah, I'd stay away. I'd stay away from those. It's I don't. There's no way doesn't even make any sense. Yeah. But no, you're not going to be able to eat a big fucking sirloin steak that's got like a little fat on it, and then consider that a
you gotta slice the part of the fat, and you gotta eat it. And I've actually gotten really good at cooking the fat high heat and get a little crust on the outside of it. It's tasty. If you get a good piece of meat, the fat will be incredibly tasty.
Yeah, and fats, the fats are very nutritious. The skin is very nutritious. The organs are very nutritious. The bone marrow is very nutritious. But people don't eat that. They'll get a steak and they'll cut off all of that, throw it away or give it to the dog, and then they'll just eat the muscle part. And that is not even close to being ketosis. So yeah, that's why I laugh at some of these keto diets. So let's go to the next one, Rank. Injecting into smaller muscles like biceps, triceps. I tried this before. I tried my triceps, did not go well for me. Basically, the tissue irritation was insane. 10 days of swelling, redness, hot to the touch. So have you ever tried these small muscle injections? What do you think about that?
Just regular steroid? Or side enhancement oil? What are we talking about?
No, steroids, yeah.
Regular juice, yeah. Is there an improvement at the site? Probably not. Maybe if that was your only favorite site and you shot a lot, you built some scar tissue in there. Eventually, which will change the shape of it, maybe increase it. Yeah, but is there a benefit to shooting right in the muscle? Probably not. Definitely not an ester sterified steroid. Definitely not, because the ester chain, that steroid is going to be days before it can be used.
I think they're kind of more wondering, is it okay to inject there? Because like, let's say you're running out of spots to inject. You're sick of injecting your glutes. You're sick of injecting your quads, your pecs, whatever. And you want to inject your triceps or biceps, like
tricep
calves
injections,
or something.
Tricep injections are legit. Calves, I wouldn't touch at all. Don't touch your calves. Your calves have other functions besides being a muscle. Your calves help pump the blood back up to the rest of your body. I mean, look how hard it would be to drink something through a long straw. The longer the straw gets, the harder it is to pull. Now, remember, your heart's got to pull blood from the tip of your toe back up to back up the body. So the calves, when you walk, they help. I wouldn't mess with my calves. I wouldn't put symptoms, wouldn't put shots in them, nothing. Quads, quad inject.
Have you tried the calves before? Have you tried it?
Shooting my calves?
Yeah.
Never.
Dude, I put it in one time and I put it like halfway in and I was like, what the fuck? That was crazy.
I wouldn't do it, bro.
It did not work out well at all.
Maybe like right on the outside, the outer part, maybe, but nah, man, it's just
A 25 gauge needle into the calves. Oh,
don't mess with your calves, man. Don't mess with your calves. Hamstring. Who would shoot a hammy? Nobody would shoot a hammy. Quads, you could kind of shoot if you find a good spot. Make sure you mark the spot somehow, and you always hit the good spot, because it's real easy to miss it and create a depot like in between muscles and stuff. I've heard many guys getting. Well, my buddy Jared, God rest his soul, got nasty quad infection. So I don't know, my glutes, shoulders, biceps, triceps, chest. I mean, how big are you? How big is your cycle that you need more muscle parts in that? I mean, you get right and left glute, right and left chest, right and left shoulder, right and left bicep. I mean, it's how much are you shooting that you're running out of spots? Look, if you run out of spots and you're tired of going into the muscle, just pinch the skin, go subcutaneous with your steroids. You can do that. You can do that with your testosterone. Shoot it right under the skin if you want to, for a variation. But I mean, I don't think you need much more spots in that, Steve. Do you?
no, I think people they like to experiment. They like to try different spots. I would say
my trap. I'm going to shoot Trent into my trap.
Yeah. My advice. There's pecs. Try pecs. Pecs are pretty cool. I like the pecs. A lot of people are scared of the pecs, but
you
I
like pec. You like pecs, Steve?
I like them. I like the big baloney. You like the big baloney tits?
Big baloney pecs.
You got a lot of those in New York. A lot of those Italian guys walk around with the baloney tits.
Hey, listen. The first rule about New York is you don't talk about New York. All right?
You don't talk about New York. They'll whack you, huh?
You don't talk about New York.
New York. All right, guys. So the last one, too much bologna up there in New York, too much deli meat. All right, guys. The next one, this is one for Rick.
Hey, you don't want to become deli meat, okay, my friend?
Too much New York style pizza and deli meat. All right, guys. So the last one, this is for Rick.
It's Stevesmi. He's running with the Persians.
This is the Persian gang.
He's got a gold color wrapped car.
Rick's with the
gold wrap. He's got gold wrapping on the scar. He's a Steve. He's a Persian.
Rick's a member of the paramilitary.
He's got a gold leaf wrapped Hummer. He's a Persian. He's a Steve.
The last one, guys. This guy says he's coming off a long ass marriage. Says it's the dumbest mistake of my life getting married at 20. Now I'm 40. Was this you that wrote this in? Was this you one that wrote this in, Rick? He says he had no social life unless you count sitting in front of the TV watching her dumb shit. But the benefits were I could stick to my diet, no problem. Now that I am single and chasing ass, it has been much harder to avoid gut food at bars and alcohol when I'm trying to get laid. How do you manage to juggle this as a single guy? Wow, these people with these questions, huh? I mean, this is so fucking hard. Why don't you jump in with this one, Ray? What do you want to say?
It's real simple, man. Just tell a bitch you don't drink and you don't eat fatty food. It's that simple, man. Just tell her you don't drink and you don't eat fatty food. It's that simple, bro. There's nothing else to it. What do you do? Just, I'm at a bar. Oh, drinks. I don't drink, baby. I'm sorry. What do you want? I'll get you something. That's it. You're at a bar and you have like fried fatty shit, just like fried starches at a bar. You say, hey, no, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you. If you drive up, you drove up there, you're not drinking, you drive up there in a car, keep your protein shaker in a car with the protein already in it, all dry, just throw it in the glove box. And then you could come out with a bottle of water, refill your protein, drink that up, have a meal replacer in a car so you don't get hungry, and do that. Meal replacing packets. Have a few of those again in your car. And a shaker, clean shaker. You can grab a bottle, go to your car, fill it, shake it up, drink it. I've done it in an airplane. And just stay away from the bad shit. Stay away from the bad foods. Just have character, do it. And if she don't like it, then she can go on her way. You can't, You can't like my abs and like my physique and then hate on me for not drinking or not doing or not eating the stuff that I shouldn't eat to make to look this way, right? Pretty simple, man. The lifestyle is a lifestyle. She's not gonna make you be off. Especially like it's the craziest thing. So maybe she gave you a chance because you're in good shape, and now she's gonna make it a thing because you decide not to drink and not to eat the same stuff she eats. It's pretty straightforward, man. Just keep your pimp hand strong and tell her what is up, and that's it. Nothing else to it.
I just think it's funny. He was married for 20 years. He got used to that habit of a certain way, and then now that he's single, he's going out now. So I just think that transition makes sense,
Everybody
though.
does that. Everybody does that. You know how many guys started listening to the podcast because they got interested in TRT and steroids because they just got divorced, they just got separated. You know how many of them I run across that I talk to on social and ask me questions, bro?
Shoot, it's got to be dozens.
It's a huge section of the guys that end up finding you and me, Steve, are divorcees in their 30s and
It's
40s.
like a new life. I mean, you're a new man now. Oh yeah.
Everybody's divorced with kids, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's divorced with kids. It's just how it is, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry you got heartbroken. I would say, I'll tell this guy, it doesn't matter whether you were married for 20 years and now
Yeah,
you're
it
single.
sucks. It sucks, man. I'm just didn't work out.
It doesn't matter. It's still dating.
Now
It's still dating.
I've just got to date all these 20-something-year-olds, man. It sucks, bro. It's just damn.
You're into the father granddaughter fan. You'll be 60 still dating 20. You'll be into the grandfather granddaughter fantasy. You'd be like one of those guys we see on TV, like a 56-year-old dating a 19-year-old, and the mom's all upset. They're like, I don't like this guy.
That's what's cool about girls in college, man. Doesn't matter how old they get. They're always about the same age.
Listen, it doesn't matter. If I don't care if you're married with kids, divorced, whatever. Dating is dating. You
No,
don't have to go.
I'm saying is you should have kept your grind up, your gym grind, diet grind up, no matter what. Like it should always be maintained. That should be number one. Because at the end of the day, it becomes what people kind of define you as in their mind almost. Because not everybody can stay in shape. Not everybody can stay fit. Not everybody can control their eating to the point where they look good. So if that's something you've created for yourself, that's something you have, that's what people know you as. You can't let the same people that admire you for looking that way let peer pressure you to leave your grind. You don't do that. Then you become just like them and there's no admiration left.
It's a habit. Now, Rick gives me shit right now because I went from like the best shape of my life to like I wasn't able to go to the gym for a couple months. Rick gives me shit about it.
Oh, Steve.
But I'm getting into this habit, this bad fucking habit, But once I'm back in, I'm going to be fresh. I'm going to be refreshed. Guess what? I'm going to be able to come back stronger after it. So I'll tell this guy the same thing. I'm like, look, you got to get back into that habit. How about meeting a girl from yoga or meeting a girl who's into sports or meeting a girl from this or at a park or something like that that's active. Go to a dog park. Take your dog to the dog park.
Just make sure you're ready and you don't look like shit for the day you actually run into her.
Yeah, looking good, dressing good, feeling confident is all important. But you don't have to go to bars to meet women. I don't understand this concept that people have of the bar is the only place to meet women. The bar is a good place to meet women who are drunk, who are going to be easy. Okay, yeah, I won't disagree with that. But you can go on now with all these dating apps and stuff. You don't even have to do that if you just want to get laid. If this guy's objective is just to get laid, he doesn't even have to go to the bar. He can just go on the dating app, invite the girl over for, be like, yeah, I just got a new.
Just say no. Just say no, right, Steve?
What do you mean?
Just say no to the alcohol. Just say no to the fried starchy food. Just say no.
Don't get into that habit. Don't get into that habit of doing it. Because you meet a girl who likes to do that stuff and you start dating her, she's going to draw you into that. So, you know, you're going to be doing that more and more. It can really, you know, fuck you up. So it helps to have a partner
If
who
you're
keeps you honest.
if you got character and you're about your shit, you'll turn the alcohol and bad food invitation down every single time. And every time you do, the person might seem a little bit disappointed on the outside, but they're building up that image in their mind of who the fuck you are. Like you can really sit there in front of this cold beer and say, yeah, I can. You can really sit there in front of these fried cheese sticks and say no. Like, yeah, bitch, I can do that. No problem. All day long, all week long, all month long. At first maybe a little bit of friction over it, but in the end, it's part of what makes you different, and it's part of what people remember about you when they think about you and think about how much respect they have for you.
All right, guys. And what do you think about this getting married at 20 and now? What do you have to say to all the other 20-year-olds out there in his situation? That if you would have talked to him 20 years ago, what would you? Because you're 40 now too. So I mean, what would you have told them at 20?
Just take your time, work on yourself. Take your time. Don't be in a rush. Work on yourself. Don't get desperate. Don't get lonely. And the right one will come along. It's that simple, man. That simple. And maybe this was the right one. I mean, he got 20 good years out of her. I can't say to this guy, well, you should have waited a little bit longer and then maybe you'd get 30 years out of her. No, they were together for 20 years. People grow apart. Just 20 good years. I don't think he made a mistake. He could have done it. He could have gotten married too early if he'd gotten divorced at 25, 26, like 5 years for something supposed to last forever. Like, come on now. But 20 years, about a quarter of someone's lifetime, not bad, bro. Not kind of bad at all.
Yeah, it's tough getting divorced with kids. It's like a death without a body.
It sucks, man.
All right, guys. Keep the questions coming, and we will definitely have more Q&As, guys. I really enjoy taking your calls, taking your questions on the podcast.
Are we doing a joke today, Steve?
Yeah, we're doing it. You got the joke for me this time. You're gonna go first.
So let's say goodbye let's say goodbye to everybody, and then
all right,
guys,
so if you guys
after the credits to hear the jokes.
Yep, if you guys want to stick around, you'll hear our amazing jokes. For Stevesmi and Rick, this has been episode 241, and we will talk to you guys next week. Have a good time. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy it.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys. All right, there we go. So you got a joke, or we're not doing jokes today?
I was thinking about that when we first started the podcast, but
you got a good one or no?
Dude, I'm like drawing a blank. You want? I didn't even prepare one. Do you have one you want to do?
I mean,
or we'll just save it.
I got a million. I'll just do whatever.
You just want to do one, and then next one I'll have one for sure.
You come through with one. You said you had 2 short jokes before. Well, what the fuck? Look, you're the guy who was pushing the jokes on the podcast. We'll do this.
I know, dude,
bro. So you got jokes when we're on the podcast, but we got a section of the podcast dedicated to jokes. You don't got nothing, bro. I've got 100. I could just.
All right, just to tell a joke, and I'll have one ready. I'll think of one.
Let me think of a good joke that'll sound good on radio. Okay, here's a good one. So this guy's got a high pitched voice, and he's tired of it. Big brolic dude. He's got this high pitched voice everywhere. He walks around talking like this. His voice is just really high pitched. So he going to the doctor, get this shit figured out. I need to do something about this. Big fucking brolic guy, 6'4", 260 pounds. And walking around talking like this. So he shows up to the doctor's office, and he comes in, and the doc says, "Come in." So he comes in and says, "Doc, I need help. I've got this voice. Look how big I am. People make fun of me my whole life. Can we do something about this?" So doc says, "Well, we'll have to see. Just undress behind the curtain there, and I'll be right back." So guy gets undressed. He's going. Doctor comes back in. Says, all right, let me just see here. Examination. Ears look fine. Throat nose looks fine. Everything looks fine. Oh, whoa, dude. That's a huge penis. How big is that thing? He's like, you see what I'm saying, Doc? Look, I'm packing this thing and this voice, it just doesn't go together. What the fuck? Can you help out? He goes, well, actually, I think that's your problem right there, kid. Your penis is too big. It's pulling down. It's tugging. The weight of it is tugging down on your vocal cords. That's why you have that high-pitched voice. Well, what can we do about it, Doc? He goes, well, I get your penis transplant, get you a smaller unit. It won't pull on your vocal cords like that, and you get a nice bassy voice. It's the only thing you can do. You can't keep that thing and sound normal. I'm sorry, dude. Well, Doc, if that's the only thing you could do, I guess I'm gonna have to give up my big old penis and just get a smaller one. So he goes, all right, man, just operation, do it in 2 days. Come back, we do it. This guy goes, gets prepped, comes back, operation's a success. All right. The guy comes out and goes, thank you, Doc. Look, my voice is fine. I don't have this high-pitched voice anymore. And he's great, goes away. Bro, about 2 months later. 2 months later, the guy comes back into the doctor's office. Goes in, says, Doc, look, thank you. The voice is great. But nah, man, I can't do it with the small penis, man. I can't do it. I'd rather have my big old penis back and my high-pitched voice. And then the doctor goes, I'm sorry, sir, there are no refunds or exchanges.
That's good. Your jokes are long, bro.
I'm sorry, sir, there are no refunds, no exchanges. We can't put it back on.
That's good. Got the voice and everything.
You've always tried to incorporate jokes into the podcast. Like, yeah. I can tell jokes.
I got a really quick one. Okay.
Hit it.
So when I was a kid, I was just like you, Rick. I was bullied. You know, I was like really scrawny.
I was never fucking bullied. Let me just get that right. I fought
okay,
every.
Can I tell my joke without interrupting?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I was always bullied. So I'd come home crying to my mom, and my mom's like, "What's wrong, little Stevie? Did you have a bad day?" She'd be like, don't give little Stevie any strawberries. You know, I wasn't allowed to have strawberries. So my mom's like, what's wrong? I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go back to school. I hate school. And she'd be like, why? Why do you hate school so much? I'm like, because the kids are mean to me. And I don't do good at school. And I always get picked on. So she goes, well, you should enjoy school. So she comes up to me and just slaps me. She's like, are you crazy? We're paying all this money to send you to school and you don't enjoy it. You should enjoy it. One day you'll have to work for a living. So I say, no, Mom, I won't. I'm going to be a comedian.
That's a good one.
You like that one?
That's a good joke.
I'm trying to tell my joke and you're interrupting my joke, bro. You're like, let's get this one thing straight. I was never bullied. That was good.
Yeah, bullied? Fuck that. I fought. Listen, when we first got to the state.
Can I tell the joke though without like?
Oh, you're not even finished with the joke?
No, that was the joke, but you kind of messed it up by chiming in.
Oh, I chimed in about being bullied.
How the hell am I supposed to do the joke without like coming up with another idea?
Listen, here's what I think happened, bro. I think now that because you used to always try to bait me into jokes, incorporate them in. Now that I've opened the dance floor up, rolled out the red carpet, brought the lights out, and said, here's the mic, is your time to shine. I think you're getting gun shy, man.
No, I think that you're much better at the longer jokes. I like the short to the point jokes.
Oh, I got great short to the point jokes too. I got them all, bro. I got them all. Okay.
Dude, I told this joke the other day to a bunch of people, and they fucking were laughing their ass off.
Let me tell you something, buddy. The first time that I actually earned money, funds, right? They used to have in Colombia growing up, for one or other reason, there used to be these big parties, you know, with big honchos, big guys and stuff like that, and big trucks. And at 5, 6 years old, I used to walk up to a group of people, tell jokes. You know, I'm a kid at the party. My parents were there. Just tell jokes and get money from people for joke telling when I was 5 or 6 years old. Because I used to tell like the craziest jokes. Like, because my parents had these tapes back then, had cassettes. And there was these comedians doing their sets. So I listened to these things over and over again and memorized these sets. And I didn't know what any of the jokes meant because they were like bad sexual jokes. But I'm a kid. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I was just like a little parrot repeating it. And I used to get hella cash at these from these people for telling jokes. Yeah,
Nice.
bro. For just telling, like I would be at a party, be like some kid we knew, some cousin or something, and we'd be hitting the piñata and all that. And then once we're done doing kid shits, people be hanging out, adults be hanging out, I'd be like, hey, I got jokes if you guys give me money. And be like, sure, kid, come on. And I do these long, intricate jokes with some crazy punchlines. I didn't know what really any of it meant. I was just parroting it. It's funny, but been doing it for years, dude. Just like you step to the you wanted jokes. We got jokes, bro.
Yeah, it's good, bro. It's good. I mean, it's good to laugh, you know.
Yeah, so you gotta have some because I'm gonna have a tight joke every.
No, I'll have some because I didn't even know we were doing this today. I thought we were just doing the SARM one. I didn't know we were doing Q&A. So but I'll be ready next time. Yeah, don't worry. I'll have a bunch.
I don't even. Those weren't even two of my best ones.
Yeah. I like the Jay Leno style, like quick fire jokes. You know,
I could do a bunch of those.
Yeah. You ever watch the movie Joker?
No. I don't think so.
That's where that's where I got the joke from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember the stand-up scene he did?
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
But I kind of made it.
Pop reference.
I made it a little fun. Yeah. All right, brother. All right. Up next week when you want to do a couple more, we'll do it.
Let's hit it Monday or Tuesday. What about Tuesday? Good.
Yeah, I mean 4 p.m.
Monday 4 p.m. Monday 4 p.m. Good.
All right, buddy. We'll schedule it. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you then. All right, bye.